What up, everybody? Welcome to Legacy TV and the Convo podcast. And lately, I've been having some of my boys, fighters and friends that passed away. And this young gentleman here, I actually been watching already fight because I'm a fan of the UFC, as all of you probably are that watch this show. And when you're a real fan and when you've been watching and training as long as I have, you are always paying attention to the upcoming talent and the kids that are coming up that are making a name for themselves. And I remember, one of the fights that I watched, I'm not going to say too much about it because we'll get into it, but it ended in some controversy. So I was like, nah, man, he had him anyway, though. The dude was ready to, give it up. But we're going to get into that. But anyways, it's an honor. I got one of the best bantamweights around right now on the show today, currently fighting for the UFC. We got Daniel, the determined Argueta, in the house. My brother, what's going on, bro?
Nothing, man.
Welcome.
Just going around the community. Living out my van in Southern California right now for the time being, finishing up Cub Swanson's camp, starting my own camp, and just kind of living.
Y'all, the van is dope, okay? We just seen the van. We're gonna film like the van for y'all so y'all can see like he's really like living that MMA life, bro. It's kind of cool to see, bro. It's refreshing. To see a fighter like living that lifestyle like that. Like it's how it's like you imagined it to be, bro.
I just want you guys to know it's by choice.
Yeah.
It's by choice.
You don't gotta be.
I had my dad. My dad was on the phone with me yesterday, and he goes, so how is it? I'm like, it's only weird because I wake up at 5 a.m. to go take a piss. I have to walk into the gym where I'm at training every day, take a piss, and then they're like, oh, nice to see you, and I go back out to my van, go back to bed for a little bit. And my dad's like, man, these people probably think your girl may have left you, or you're homeless now, and then I'm like, no, they know me. He's like, you want me to send you some cash? You need anything? I'm like, I'm not actually homeless, man. This is by choice. I'm like,
that's like, hey, you all right, son?
Yeah.
You need a couple dollars?
I'm like, I'm good. And yeah, like I said, it's by choice. It's, get out of my comfort zone. I strictly get to just focus on training and myself.
Yeah.
It ain't bad.
For sure. No, bro, right now, you're in your fighting career.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be honest, professional sports has a time length, and you want to get the most out of your career, I'm sure, while you're young, while you're, in your best shape, while you have your best years ahead of you. So you have to be a little bit selfish,
Heck
bro.
Yeah, man.
And at the same time with being selfish, bro, you got to remain disciplined.
Yep.
Am I right?
Like I was telling you earlier, I always dreamed of that van life, just right outside the gym, just living there. And now I'm like, that shit sucks. It sucks, but it's funny. I get to put it into, perception. Back then I would have loved it, but I probably wouldn't have tried to climb as fast as I did to get to where I'm at now. Now I can do that comfortably and understand, I do this by choice. I want to get out of my comfort zone. I try to do everything during my camps to get out of my comfort zone. And this is that next thing where it's like, oh, man, I don't have to do this, but...
It makes you hungry?
Yeah, it makes me hungry.
Yeah.
You got to swallow your pride when you...
Absolutely.
Wake up in the morning and brush your teeth outside the gym.
In a way, you're putting yourself in your own jail cell kind of type thing,
In a sense.
Not as bad as jail guys. But in a way, you're taking away the things that we all want to have, the luxuries. You're taking it away because you want that. That bloody eyes.
Right now I'm doing, like I said, this is my SoCal tour, man. I just moved back to New Mexico. I was living in Downey for the last 4 years while my fiance was completing dental school. She's a dentist now.
Oh, wow. Congratulations to your fiance.
Alejandra, she's awesome. She's holding it down in New Mexico right now. We're just moved into a house out there, and within I went out for a week. I moved her back from LA for a week. And then said, okay, I gotta drive back. I gotta go back to camp, back to my reality. And so that was sad, you know. We start decorating the house and little shit like Holly Home, one of my good friends from out there. She helped us, like we built a piece of furniture with her, and you know, little fun stuff around the house. And then I gotta I gotta go.
But that's okay because you keep rebuilding. You're gonna
man,
you go into the you know to the forest to hunt and then come back with the food and the gold. And you know what I'm saying? Like that's okay, man. That's what we're supposed to do. We're cavemen.
Exactly. But, man, before I left, my girl goes, you know, she was sad. I was a little sad too, and she was like, you know what? This is good. If I just stayed there. Start getting comfortable in our house for the next couple years that we're going to stay in before we get our own land. That would be like settling.
Right.
I'm not here to settle.
You got money to make.
Yeah, I got stuff to do. I want people.
You got goals to reach.
I want more people to remember my name one day. You know, so I got stuff to do, and you know that was refreshing to hear my girl say that. That's a support system right there. And, you know, we always talk about it, like, you know, with kids and everything. I got 5 years to make it as far as I can in this sport. And don't crash and burn at the end. Walk down those steps slowly. Keep your name relevant for as long as possible. Continue to fight. Continue to grow your skills. You know, hopefully it leads to the next big opportunity.
Right.
You know, fighting is not forever.
Right.
But it's there. You know, people will never forget.
You said Albuquerque. Now let me ask you a couple questions, bro. Is that where you originally from?
No.
Where are you originally from?
So I'm from a town in Chicago called Orland Park, Illinois. Southwest suburbs, about
Chicago. The Sox.
We're about 35 minutes southwest of downtown, and that's where I grew up. Nice little, you know.
What you think of Kanye?
Bro, I don't really listen to music.
You don't listen to music much.
I don't listen to music much.
You know, I had to ask you that since you said Chicago. You brought Chicago up. That guy's like.
Cub will always like try to get me on music and be like, "Oh man, did you hear this?" I'm like,
I don't know.
Today I was sitting
listening to my stuff, dog.
I will show me.
You come out to one of my songs to your next fight.
Shit,
I got a lot of songs.
Hell yeah. I walk out to like old shit.
Yeah,
I walk out to old shit.
That's cool.
Like
though, bro. You got an old soul.
My second UFC fight, I walked out to. You remember the intro song to Step Brothers?
Yeah.
I walked out to that.
You know what I've noticed about you, bro, from seeing you in the media and your fights, like you got a good personality, bro. Like you got a lot more to offer than just fighting, bro, which is pretty cool. This is why I definitely I knew once I saw you, post the show, I was like, man, we gotta have him on because I already knew the personality. I remember I watched one. I'm like that much into the sport where I watch the post fight interviews. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's not many people that do that.
No,
right?
there's not.
The most of the hardcore fans like me, like we watch all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, especially because I got that relationship that I known Cub and I was close with Cub's manager and all that, and we're in the same kind of circle. I'm a fan of it, and then seeing you at this press conference, you're talking for him. I was like, that was comedy to me. I was like, and then Cubs there in the all blue bandana shirt with the logos. I was like, this is great.
I had a mustache on.
That was dope, bro. But that's what I'm saying. You got the personality to go with the fighting, which is another thing that's so important. Which is good for you guys is to be able to, have that personality as well and let people get to know you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So growing up in Chicago, tell me like growing up what you were like, bro. Were you a good kid? Were you doing sports? I assume just from what I've seen.
What do you think?
I'm like, he had to be wrestling since he was 2. or 1. 8 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. So because I know you have the USA wrestling logo.
Illinois wrestling.
Is it Illinois? My bad. But I knew you had a wrestling logo on you. I'm like, so he just and I seen the ears. I was like, man, the dude has to be good at wrestling, right? So tell me, so is that your first introduction into martial arts? Is wrestling?
Yeah, wrestling was. You know,
how good were you, dog?
I was good. I was good. Could I have been better? Of course.
Did you wear the singlet
every day?
Did you like it?
Loved it. Fucking loved it. I still wear a singlet. I might start a trend.
I go to sleep in the singlet.
I might start a trend. I might start wearing my singlet for training.
No disrespect to my wrestling community. I just, the reason why I always joke around about that is because I was a heavy set kid, bro. And like I
didn't want to wear a singlet.
I played football. I was the center and the nose guard. So you can imagine I was a thick kid, right? And then I wanted to wrestle, bro. Like I was like all for it. Like I was already pinning guys' hands behind their back, and I was like, this is made for me. But then the dude showed me what I had to wear.
It's competition day.
See ya. I ain't wearing that shit, bro. No way, dog. Like, yeah, you guys in shape dudes can wear that. Not okay. I was out of there, Jack. I'm not kidding, bro. I dipped out the back of the locker room. Said I was going to the bathroom. I was out of there. I grabbed my backpack and I went home. And what happened? I'm not doing that shit. But you wore the singlet and everything.
Oh, singlet.
Did you compete a lot?
Yes. Yeah. You know, when you're a little kid and, you know, it's Chicago during the winter, it's cold. It's cold, man. Cold, and every Sunday, every Sunday,
and you got to wear a singlet.
Every Sunday, mom would have to take you to the tournament. You know, brother would take me to the tournament. My dad was always busy. You know, I never expected him to take me to my tournaments. He was working to make sure that I got the best training possible. But
that's right.
It was a childhood full of that, man. I go practice all week in the winter and go compete every weekend, and my parents didn't like push it on me.
You wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And it was a full time, like year round?
Just the winter. Oh, just okay. When I was a little kid, just the winter, and then I played football.
Okay.
Outside linebacker and a running back.
Oh, you're a linebacker. Oh, you like to hit people.
It was the best. I like to hit people, and I also like to test myself, see if people could tackle me. Yeah. I was always an agile kid. And
that's the funnest thing about football.
When I was
in nose guard, all I wanted to do was hit somebody.
I'm sick. I like to try to tackle me. Let's do this.
Yeah, bro.
And it I got to live like the all-American like kid's life, man. My dad asked me all the time. My parents came to the States when I think they were like a little over 10 years old, 12, 13. And they both met in Chicago, 16, 17 years old.
What nationality? Or full Mexican? Or
no. My dad was born in Guatemala.
Guatemala?
And my mom was born in Honduras.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Guatemalan and Honduras.
So Spanish speaking. Yeah, Spanish speaking. You know, I didn't know many other
Is there a
Spanish
flag that you like to walk out with?
I walk out with the American flag.
Okay.
Yeah, I walk out with the American flag. Not because I'm not proud of my heritage, you know, my parents' heritage, but because my parents came here to, you know, give me the best life they could, and that meant staying here. And I think they went a little too north, a little too cold. Yeah. You know, they could have stopped closer. But, you know, my dad, man, both of my parents, they remind me all the time, like, my dad would be like, oh, man, I'm living through you. What are you doing? Like, what are you up to? How special was it growing up that way? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, man, I always made sure that your mom and your brother and sister always took care of you to do this. Always made sure your mom dressed you up nice. Always made sure that you looked good, that you were a clean kid, that you were smart, that you were happy. And I'm like, oh, for a dad from a different country, that's the American dream.
Yeah.
He lived it.
Yeah.
You know, just to be able to give me those opportunities, and now I'm living that. So it's special, man. So I'm glad I grew up out there with that different understanding than most kids I grew up around.
Yeah. Shout out to your mom and your dad.
Oh, they're the best.
Yeah. So, you know, a good mom and a dad is so important, man. You know, and you know, it's so critical. Like I raised my kids by myself. I have 3 of them.
Oh, wow.
But it's like, it's hard, man. It's hard. They get to that those teenage years, bro. Like you can't do no
boys or girls.
I got 2 girls and a boy.
What are the ages?
17-year-old girl turning 18, other daughter's turning 14, and my son's turning 13. Bro, like,
So he just gets his ass beat.
I can't do. Oh yeah, bro. Yeah. Oh yeah. I've been ground and pounding him since he was 2. no cap. No, I mean, yeah. Like, of course. Like he. My son grew up in the gym. Like I never worried about him like getting in a fight. You know what I'm saying? And I think like your parents did the right thing by putting you in wrestling. I think most wrestlers I ever met not only are good people. But they're also very good athletes. They're super strong. They'll kick your ass. Real talk, though. I'm talking about, especially just that skill set of being able to just ragdoll somebody and throw somebody around. Well, like I always explain it, like, man, it's like there's levels to wrestling too, and when you're a black belt wrestling dude, like when you're you're
these kids nowadays, man. Like even like you look at the difference between like Division II college and D1. There's wrestlers, then there's wrestlers, man. These
levels.
Kids, some of these D1 guys are phenomenal.
Right.
They're great. And it is cool, now that I've stepped into MMA because I get to fight some of those guys sometimes.
Yeah, so tell me, so you're wrestling. How far do you take wrestling? Does wrestling amount to any championships or medals?
The story goes back and forth. I started wrestling when I was 8.
Yeah.
When I was 11, my brother was watching UFC and he said, "Dan, you should do this." And I'm like, "That's dumb. That's dumb. I'm a wrestler." And I'm watching George St. Pierre and Matt Hughes.
You're watching them wrestle.
And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Yeah. I went to a career day and I said, "I want to be a pro cage fighter." The girl next to me wanted to be a doctor, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm an idiot." That's my dream. That was my dream career. In the community I grew up in, that's odd. That's very odd.
I guess you could say it is, but man, for a lot of guys, I think men especially, like they all want to be a good.
But this was
deep down inside. What was this? You all do deep. Even those of you guys that don't train, deep down inside, and we know they want to be. They want to have that.
Of course, of course. So this was like around like 2003 when this happened. 2002, and I watched and I said this and I said. I had to, for career day, I had to make like a brochure. And I made a brochure saying I want to move down to New Mexico and train under Greg Jackson out where George St. Pierre trains. And they make this much money and like all these little things. And then I forgot all about that dream after career day. It was like the end of the school year. And so now I got a whole summer and football season. And then wrestling starts again. I forgot all about it. When I was like 24 years old, about 6 years ago, that teacher reached out to me on Facebook and said, "Holy shit, you're really doing it, kid." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" "Yo, you don't remember career day?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Wow.
Just my life I was like.
Full circle.
Yeah, wow.
Things you say.
Yeah,
they come to fruition.
What would you call that? That's the American dream right there. I got to do that,
right?
Because my parents set a good layout for me. They made sure things were possible, and I made the rest happen. Not by myself, obviously. It took a lot of. It's an army that created my career,
right,
in my life. I'm so lucky, and man.
So tell me, like, how does this? Okay, so you had said
it, kept wrestling, wrestled in high school. I was always a top Illinois wrestler. At least top 10 in the state. My senior year, I was going into the state tournament in the top 5,
which is very good.
Yeah, very good. I think my senior year, when I look back at that state bracket. Like 6 or 7 of the guys were D1 wrestlers. A couple All-Americans. So it was a very competitive bracket that I was wrestling in. Ended up making it to the state semifinals. Lost to the eventual state champion. Lucas Smith, I still got it for you, man.
Transition to MMA,
I'll
please.
get you one day. No, he's a good kid. He's a good dude. Me and him we're cool.
It's crazy that you remember, like, people, like...
Of course I remember. My parents keep the brackets up in my bedroom.
It's not just your parents. You're a competitor. So you all, like, deep down, you're always going to remember that as old as you can.
And then after high school, I'm looking into, schools. Really want to wrestle Division I. I really want to go to the University of Illinois. They were in the talks with me, and we're like, okay, cool. I might go wrestle at the University of Illinois. This is great. For people out here, at the time, that's like someone from out here, a football player, saying, I want to play at USC. You're near Chicago, and you're wrestling. You want to wrestle for the state. That's the highest level you can go to at the time. And when it was all said and done, they said, oh, your GPA is too low, my man. You're going to have to go to community college out here, but you could train with us for the year, and then we'll get you in. And I said, nah, I'm just trying to wrestle. I didn't care about school that much. And so then I found a Division II school that, they want to start helping me pay for my school right off the bat. And they were a good program, a good legacy program, Wisconsin Parkside, Division II school in Kenosha. And, started wrestling with them, and man, I got good. I got better at wrestling, but my life started downward spiraling. Man, you're living in Wisconsin. You want to drink beers all the time.
That's how the town is?
Oh my gosh. I think that the town was like most bars within like square mileage. Oh, dude, it was crazy. But I
talk about it, bro. Like, so
I was still getting good at wrestling.
But you were getting heavy into drinking.
Yeah, man. I was drinking 4 nights a week during season. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And
just drinking like one beer or drinking like a lot of beers?
All the beers.
All the beers in the pack.
Enough beers.
Damn.
And
I never liked beers that much, bro. I don't. When I would drink, shout out to me, because in a couple of days it'll be 1 year I'm sober from alcohol. But yeah, I never liked beers, bro. I even lived in England for 8 months because I was getting in trouble as a kid, and all they do is drink beer out there at the pub.
Well, in Wisconsin, it was just a culture thing. Oh man, Sunday we're all hungover. Let's go get breakfast and beers.
It started out with breakfast.
Let's go get beers.
Damn.
And it was just a downward spiral. My 4th year of school, third or fourth, one of them. Me and my best friend, who went to this college together, we both got voted as team captains. We were I want to say like the 3rd and 4th youngest team captains in the history of the school. Yeah. And this program's been around since the early 60s, at least. And, so that was an accomplishment. I'm like, man, and I'm not even an All-American. I'm not even a qualifier, but man, I'm a goer. I can wrestle in the room. In the room, I was phenomenal.
But not out there.
I was out there. I was still good.
You were good, but not the
still
best.
Still good,
guy.
Not the best.
But in the room, you were the man.
I was one of the best. I had people tell me this, man, and it was frustrating. You were one of the best wrestlers in the room.
Isn't that crazy though? Like, you hear about that with MMA too. Like, you hear about like, yeah, he's a world beater in the gym, and he's just like under the lights. Like, I think it's true like that.
I figured it out. I figured it out, man. Because it goes back to high school too. I was always good. I was always right there. But if we could be honest, was I doing everything? I told you how I was just training during the seasons for the most part. In high school, I was doing off season, but what about all those years before? I wasn't. Right. The reason I couldn't beat that kid who beat me in the semifinals, because he trained all year to beat me. I trained 8 months.
He was more prepared.
Yeah. During season, he was probably doing the extra sprints, going to that next practice after his high school practice.
He took it more serious.
Yeah, things that I wasn't doing. And I understood that in college. I not reaching my full potential in college was the best thing I ever did for my MMA career.
Well, yeah, bro. Sometimes it takes for you to fall on your ass to get up.
Because as a competitor, like as an athlete, I'll say, this is my last chance. Don't mess it up. Do everything you have to do.
Right.
Take it serious, you know. Use all the potential you have.
Absolutely.
Make it uncomfortable. Do it the hardest you have to do it. I'm a 30-year-old UFC fighter. Should I be living in my van?
get the van, get the green van.
Yeah, should I be living in a green van?
Get the green van. You gotta get the green van first. Like,
you know,
yeah, bro.
like
you gotta do it
for an athlete competing on ESPN.
It's dope.
Like,
respect.
Do you hear that? Like, he's living in a green van.
I'm hearing it. I'm seeing it. It is dope. Respect to that. I think that's the way it should be done, man. Like those the old grimy gym, like, you know, the old hard work, the running through the forest with the bumpy,
bro.
You know, that real shit, that rocky shit.
When I'm in California and I see like people living in their RVs or out of like vans and crap, I'm like, oh man, that guy's tough. I'm just playing pretend.
He's changed his whole mind now. Yeah, damn.
I'm just playing pretend in this van. This guy's really. Some of these people are really struggling, and that's what they have to do. And
yeah, man.
For me to go out of my comfort zone just to
a little bit
do that a little, and
yeah, man. There's homeless people, there's people in jail, man. Yeah, I guess the green truck is not that bad when you think about it, though, right?
Perspective.
It's all in perspective, man. And at the same time, you're giving yourself that hunger, bro. You're giving yourself that little bit of taste of taking away things to want more, and that's good for you, bro.
Oh man, after Cubs fight, I can't wait to go back to New Mexico and play house for like a couple of weeks with my lady. I want
to get to Cubs fight too. Shout out Cub. Okay, so we're wrestling in college still.
Okay.
Now you got to take me how we got to get to your career. How this all starts for you.
So I'm a team captain. It's my 5th year of school because I redshirted my first year. So I'm almost done. I quit the team. I cared more about partying and graduating. I was about to not graduate.
Right.
And I was like, man, I got to get rid of one. And the coach who recruited me, he was an older guy, Jim Cook. He goes, Dan, he wanted to have a meeting with me because I was like, over it. I'm over it.
Yeah.
Thought I was done competing.
You had the foot already out the door. Yeah.
And he's like, Dan, what's important now? Win. What's important now? And my dumb ass said, graduating in my social life. I'm done wrestling.
Yeah.
No, I hung up the shoes and left.
You just keeping it real.
Yeah.
You tell them what you want.
And, you know, so now I'm going out, doing better in school. I got like a paid internship. I'm like, okay, I'm trying. I'm trying to grow up. I'm trying to do better for myself. About 10 days later, I end up in Izzy Martinez's wrestling room in Chicago. Oh. I couldn't handle it. I'm like, I need some
wrestling.
Yeah, I need some wrestling. And then, you know, the reason I went to Izzy's room because I knew MMA fighters were in and out.
Izzy, for people that don't know, Izzy is, you know, the GOAT, in my opinion, the GOAT, one of John Jones' wrestling coaches for a long time, right? Yep. He also helped train
Holly Holm, Cub Swanson, Cowboy,
Yair Rodriguez. Yeah, so a lot. Yeah, so
he's got a big resume in the sport.
Just for you guys that don't know, aren't too deep in the MMA,
and he's got one of the most possibly the most successful kids wrestling academy in the country, out of Chicago, Illinois. Izzy Style Wrestling. You know, they're bad. These kids, they're grown-ups at 11 years old. They're learning at 11 how to fight with the best.
Respect.
You know, and so like I said, 10 days after I quit the team, I just find myself in his room. And I was like, I kind of want to fight. He goes, all right, well, just show up, coach for me, help me out, do this for me. And, you know, I'm going to bring you into the MMA fighters. I'm like, all right. And he brings me up to Wisconsin to Rufus Sport in Milwaukee.
Oui.
And he goes, all right, we're going to
do Rufus.
He goes, all right, you're going to wrestle with Anthony. I was like, Anthony?
Pettis? Right off the bat?
I have no idea who Pettis was.
Just wrestle?
I didn't watch the sport since I was 11.
Damn.
I'm 22 now, so 10, 11 years later.
This is crazy.
And I'm like, okay.
So what is just wrestle, or you guys were gonna
take him down?
Okay.
There's a wall behind him. He's got gloves and mouthpiece. Take him down.
Okay.
Go take him down. boom, guillotines the shit out of me. Didn't even own a mouthpiece. I bit through both sides of my tongue, and I'm like, what the like? I was messed up.
Tap and stuff, right?
Yeah, but I didn't have a mouthpiece. I just bit right through he locked it up quick. I didn't know who this dude was. Sorry, Anthony. I didn't know much then. Now, obviously, I know who you are. You're one of the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
All respect. If it wasn't for the Pettis brothers,
OG.
If it wasn't for the Pettis brothers, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. You know, there's so many fighters I can list to say, you know, if it weren't for them, I wouldn't be here.
Right, go ahead. Bro.
I think I think it starts with GSP, and then it goes to the Pettis brothers, and then, you know, a couple weeks after working with Pettis, you know, going up there to wrestle with him while I'm still in school. On the weekends, I'm going down to Chicago, and
after you wrestled, did you look him up?
Yeah, heck yeah.
After the guillotine,
no,
you're like, I gotta see who this kid is now, right? Yeah. Like, okay. Then you're like,
him, and then like I thought, you know, they gave me Sergio. Shout out to Sergio Pettis, another monster.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this guy's just a littler one of you. I'm like, kick his ass. He think he whooped me too, and I'm like, oh man, these guys are good. Damn. I was like, these guys are good.
Sergio wrapped you up too?
Oh, I was like, these guys are good.
But you were able to, but at least off the bat though, your wrestling was better than them. Am I right?
Yes, yeah.
You could take them down, but regardless of taking them down,
could I come out alive? Maybe.
Damn, but you know that, like, you just had to learn that stuff.
Yeah, it was right into the fire.
Yeah, so that, and damn, like, right off the bat, like, what a better way, what a better introduction to MMA than, you know,
a couple. Oh, dude, it gets crazier.
Go ahead.
A couple weeks later, it's like close to Christmas, and Izzy goes, "Hey, come by the gym. I have some MMA fighters." I'm like, "Oh man, it's like cold as hell outside." I'm like, "All right." So I go to the gym, and it's this guy wearing a blue hoodie with fur in it, with like black Nike looking Jordan winter boots and sweatpants. I'm in a full snowboarding coat. I'm prepared for how cold it is out there. It's in the negatives. His hoodie said WEC on it.
Uh-oh.
I didn't know who this guy was, but I've seen a picture of him in our gym. Turns out it's Cub Swanson.
Shout out Cub.
With his buddy Juan Archuleta. During the time, man, those guys were inseparable. They went everywhere. They trained everywhere together. And Izzy throws me a pair of gloves. And Cub he's by a wall, shadow boxing with just 4-ounce MMA gloves, like regular competition gloves. And Izzy looks at me and he goes, "All right, Dan, take him down." I was like, "Done, easy." So I start walking at him. I've never thrown a punch yet at this point.
you just got the gloves on.
Start walking at him, and as soon as I set up a takedown, I just get two-pieced in the face. Pop, pop. And I'm like, what the hell? And dude's on top of me. And I'm like, you know, I thought I shot on him. I was like, man, what the hell?
You got dropped.
Hey, no, I shot on him.
Oh, you did?
But
okay.
Yeah. I just got hit twice, and I shot, but then he's on my back. I'm like, what the hell, man?
Cub's nasty.
And I'm like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Cub Swanson. I was like, who's that? Like, I didn't know anything about MMA. I thought Archuleta was his brother at the time. I thought they were twins. And so then I trained with him that day, and I was like, oh, cool. Like, another taste of MMA.
A lot of people don't know, man. Cub is sick at jiu-jitsu, too. Like, he's really good. I remember he would come down when I think he was a like purple and brown belt at the time, and then I also seen him when it was a black belt at Joe's gym. And dude, I remember how fast and how good and technical he was. A lot of people don't know that about him, bro. They like
he could have been a pro soccer player.
The dude's
could have been a pro soccer player.
Dude's dope. Period.
You know,
everywhere. He's one of the most entertaining fighters to watch. Period.
When he was in his early 30s, we'd always mess with him, being like, "You got some eligibility left? You can go wrestle in college right now. I think you can become an All-American." You know, he's good, dude. And he's one of the most competitive people I ever met. Me, I'm not really like that in the gym as much.
Cub is.
Oh, he is. There's like a couple things where I'm like we'll do like these funny workouts, and he'll beat me. Then I'll like do like a meathead of the workout of like, okay, this one you got to be really strong for, and we'll do it. The guy will still beat me. I told him, you know, he's 40 now, and I was like, you're a liar. Acting like you're training like he's 28. Performing like he's in his 20s, and I'm just like,
he's a student.
I'm amazed. I'm amazed by them. But
shout out Cub, man. He's had one of the most like underrated careers ever, bro. That guy's a legend, bro, when it comes to MMA, for real. So you get into the
okay. So boom, Cub Swanson's there.
And he's there to get some training.
Yeah. Then so
he's on your back and stuff.
Couple months goes by. I get in trouble with Izzy. I get in trouble. I was out late. Probably had a couple too many pieces of pizza that night. And
having fun.
Yeah, and you know, the next morning when I was supposed to be a responsible adult, I was not, and that wasn't my first warning, and he had to let me go from the program. Oh. And I was supposed to go train with Cub like at the end of the month. And I was just, man, I just threw away my whole life for one night.
He's a stickler, huh?
Yeah.
He's tough. He's strict. Yeah.
I was like, I just threw away my whole life for one night. The same problem that landed me in that gym, you know, wanting to be out because I didn't want to wrestle anymore, just got me kicked out of the backup plan. That same issue. And, you know, that was tough. That was really tough. I begged for forgiveness and another chance and nothing. Izzy was tough on it. He just said, you know, I wasn't going to change and that, you know, I was going to be a drunk for the rest of my life. Just said, you know, you're not going to change. It's going to be very hard to change, but change elsewhere. Damn. We're done with you. I was like, damn. And like a week goes by. I'm just doing work for my dad. And Cub texts me. Hey, man, how's it going? You ready to get out to California?
Cub's a G, man.
And I was like, have you talked to Izzy? And he was like, no. I was like, yeah, he kind of fired me. And I told him what happened. He goes, oh. I'm like, dude, sent him a long message. I wish I still had the message. Long message. How I'll change my life.
Right.
Please just get me out there. I'll change my life. No response from Cub. Left me on red, and I'm like, damn. Oh, this is over.
Suspense.
And then like another week later, like a couple days before I'm supposed to leave, Cub texts me. Hey, call Coach Izzy. So I call Coach, and Coach tells me to meet him at this cafe, and he's got the plane ticket on the table of this diner. We're at this tiny little diner, like 10 tables at it, and I'm getting yelled at by him. All these old people having breakfast, looking over, getting yelled at by Coach, and I'm just like, man, I deserve it. I deserve it. And then at the end of the conversation, why should I send you to California? I was like, Coach, I want to change my life. You're not going to change. You're not my problem anymore. You're Cub's problem now. And I was like, all right, we're going to California.
First class, we got a ticket. We're out of here.
That was initial. But then as it started happening, I'm like, no, this isn't supposed to be this easy. You know, and then when I got out here, you know, it was crazy. You know, his wife, they were pregnant with their first child, Royal. And she picked me up from the airport. And I got like an hour and a half car ride with her in silence because I'm just like, I wonder if she knows why I'm in trouble.
He's the drive of shame.
Yeah, I'm like, I wonder if she knows. She got this idiot kid next to her. And then we get to the house. I'm excited. Like, oh, man, vacation. I'm here for 2 weeks. Cub gets back from practice while I'm sitting there, and he goes, all right, man, here's your room. It's a mattress on the ground, a blanket, and a pillow. No pillowcase. Nothing.
He said it like that.
Not even sheets. And he goes, here's your room.
Oh, shit.
Coffee's on at 8. We'll go work out, go for your run, then we'll lift, then we'll practice again at night. Okay. I don't got money. I don't got a car. You know, I wasn't asking my parents for anything. Like, no way, man. I'm already in trouble. I got to make this work for myself.
Here's your shot right here.
You know, and it was like being in boot camp. It was like being in rehab, you know, like I was like, oh man, like this guy's pushing me and pushing me and pushing me. And I was supposed to be there for 2 weeks. And then after 2 weeks, he goes, all right, you're driving out to New Mexico with me. I was like, okay, cool. So I go to New Mexico with him for a month. And then he's about to leave for fight week. And I'm like, so how am I getting home? He goes, oh, you're coming to Nashville with me. I'm like, cool. So went to Nashville with him. After his fight, I'm like, so how am I getting home? He goes, I'm sending you back to New Mexico. You're going to pick up my car, drive it out to California. I got you an amateur fight in 2 months. You're going to stay with me.
Hell yeah, bro.
And so then he brought me back and, you know, took my first amateur fight.
Crazy, man. Like, I didn't know all this. Like, Cub literally, like, just took you under his wing, man. Mm-hmm. Like, what a G, bro.
Dude,
like,
it's a wild story, and it's crazy. What? That was 9 years ago almost.
Damn, bro. Like, what a homie. Like, you know,
he didn't have to do that.
No, he didn't. You know what I'm saying? And like Cub's, like, for those of you that don't know, I'm sure a lot of you do, but Cub could probably have any training partner he wants.
Yeah.
Right? Am I right?
So to have this funny kid that, you know, I didn't grow up as hard as him. I didn't, you know, I wasn't into, you know, crazy shit on the streets. You know, I was just all-American wrestling kid that funny, cool to hang around him, just treat him like a normal person. And that was enough for him to see that in his eyes, that I deserved a shot at this, that I was going to do this.
I think Cub is also very observant from what I, you know, seen of the, you know, what he keeps around him. And I think, like, if you know, you do right by him, he's going to try and help you as best as he can. He seems like just a super loyal dude. And you know what I'm saying? So
number one loyal guy.
You fell into, like, the right place, man. You know, God kind of guided you into the perfect hands, dude, bro.
Well, I accidentally missed a whole piece of this.
Go ahead.
So before I ever got in trouble with Izzy, he already sent me out to New Mexico once. He sent me out there to train with Holly Holm for a month. So I trained with Holly for a month. So because of Holly, that was the first time I ever made it out there.
You were wrestling with Holly?
Wrestling dummy. You know, and because of her, that's how I ended up out there.
Shout out Holly Holmes.
Yeah, man. And then when I was supposed to leave there, that's when Cub saw me for the first time since Chicago. He goes, oh, man, what are you doing? Like, I leave tomorrow. He goes, oh, you want to stay? This is before I ever got in trouble, so I was still trusted. I was still a trusted.
You were on the good side.
I was still a trusted source. And he's like, do you want to stay longer? And I was like, sure. So I lived in a hotel with him for a couple of weeks. And I'm like, back to the same thing. Kind of like on the fly. He's an on the fly kind of guy. I'm like, so what am I doing? He goes, oh, you're coming out to my fight with me. So he brought me to my first UFC event. And that was to go watch him fight Kawajiri in Salt Lake City.
That's a while back.
And after that fight, he sent me home. He goes, just keep training, man. I was like, lost. I'm like, that's it?
You don't need me?
Keep training? Okay.
Damn.
And then, you know, that time went on and got in trouble and everything. But like I said, there's so many fighters to thank. The Pettises, Holly Holm, Cub Swanson. Yeah. The list goes on, man.
So once Cub finally brings you out here and you're like,
and I fought.
You fought the amateur fights and like it became real after that.
So
and go ahead.
Cub and Kami gave me 2 rules. They said, you don't say no to a fight. You don't say no to training opportunities.
Sounds like a damn near, you know, easy.
They're not. If these guys that are your managers, they're like my best friends. If they're asking you, hey, do you want to fight this guy? Can you fight this guy?
They think you could beat him.
Yeah, they're not asking me to set me up for failure.
No, of course not.
So that's when
you have to trust them.
Yeah. So that's when, if you don't feel ready inside, that's your fault. Right. You still got to fight.
Right.
Fix it.
Right. They're getting you a fight that they think you can win, and this is a good fight for you. So take it.
Yeah.
It's basically, if we go out of our way to find you a fight, take the fight.
And then the next rule was, I was a kid with no job, just training. if someone calls you and they're better than you, they have more stuff that they can teach you, if they can give you a good opportunity, if they call you and say, hey, man, can you be out in California this weekend? Done.
You're there.
I'll be there. You know, that's my responsibility. That's my career path. You know, and those are 2 rules that I still live by. And
you get paid, I assume, if somebody's flying you out, like to
no, he'd fly. You know, they would fly me out.
Like if you're helping, like just out of I know behind the scenes a lot, but you know, for the fans, like
they would fly me out, pay for like my food. Depends how rough it is. For me at this time, it was rough. I fresh out of college, no money, no job,
really rough.
Yeah.
Like,
so you know, and this would go back to my parents, but you know, they would fly me out, pay for my food, just make sure I was cool, had a roof over my head.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah,
already.
Man. Now that I have a little bit of money,
go make something out of yourself, son.
Now that I have a little bit of money and like, well, I ain't got nothing, but like enough to survive and do my occupation. Now I look at it, I'm like, man, these guys sacrificed a lot for me.
Right.
You know, it's going to be my turn soon for someone.
Right.
And with that being said, it was like, there was a status to uphold. You know, I had to get these things done. You know, I had to believe in them. I had to believe in myself and understand that these guys are doing this for me to make it this far.
Absolutely.
You know, and that was important to me. That was everything.
And you like, just like, let's be honest, bro. Like, Kami, Cub, they're just really good people, bro. So you ended up in people that not only were going to help you with your career, but
my life,
but they're genuinely going to be, you know, there for you, like as human beings, which is the more important thing.
Yeah.
Is you know, you have a life outside of fighting. And Cub is one of those smart people out in the MMA game that is doing things to make lots of money outside of fighting. So I'm sure he's passing all this stuff on to you guys as well. You know?
Man, you can't pay for that.
It's game.
You can't.
It's like real game. Like you're getting game from him, and that's
you know
respect.
It's
bro, your career. Let's talk about your career a little bit.
Okay.
Your first fight in the amateurs canceled, right? Is what I'm seeing, and then you lost one by submission.
Okay, so my first amateur fight, was at Agua Caliente.
Oh,
so it's not even on there.
It's not.
Let me see.
Yeah, this is like just Shirt Dog record right here.
Yeah, my first fight.
Speaking to the speaker.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my first fight's not even on there.
How many amateur fights did you have altogether? You remember? Because it's old school kind of.
Okay, so I lost my second one. My first one I won, and then I had my third one I won, and then I won 2 in a row, so I had 5. I was 4-1.
4-1 as an amateur,
yeah,
which is good. How did you feel about like being an amateur? Like, were you enjoying the amateur fights? Like,
no,
it
was terrifying. It was terrifying, bro. I never had to get him. That was my first time fighting.
Did you have to wear the shin guards? I know some of the amateurs
for one fight.
Yeah.
One fight. Like, not even my first fight.
Like, I don't get it in MMA. Like, I don't.
Bro,
like, dude, just stop it.
Yeah.
Take it off, man. Like, it's like you get grounded pounded, but you can't get. Like, it's some of the rules, like for amateurs.
That's why,
crazy. Like,
dude, amateurs in New Mexico, badass.
Yeah, it's like almost a professional fight.
You can knee to the face, you can elbow to the face.
Right.
No shin guards. Amateurs in New Mexico
you might as well just get in there as a pro.
That's why my last 2 amateur fights were in New Mexico, so that I got to play with elbows and knees, and I was like, oh, okay, this is real. And
you could see like towards the end of your amateur career, you got it. You started like doing your thing, and you know you just went on a tear, bro. Like, were you excited to turn pro?
I was scared, man.
Like, it was more nerve-wracking than being an amateur, you feel like? Or it was the same nerve-wracking
that
feeling?
Jump was scary because...
this is really going to count.
Yeah. Because... So after that amateur career... During the amateur career, actually... So after that first amateur fight... I went back out to New Mexico... Because Cub sent me out there to train with Ray Borg. And we were training for the Demetrius Johnson fight. And so I was living in Ray Borg's double wide out in the middle of the desert in New Mexico.
That's the one where Demetrius
Yeah, that
like
one.
sumo
That one.
through the air and armbar. That shit's crazy, bro.
And
Respect
when
Ray Borg.
after that fight, I asked Cub, I'm like, all right, man, done with New Mexico. I'm coming back. I don't have a place to live out here, though. And Cub was like, nope. Talk to Greg Jackson. You're staying out there till you learn how to fight. Man, I was out there for, if you look at the record, I was out there for 3 more years.
Yeah, you fought because Greg Jackson actually, for people that don't know, he has his own promotion. Am I right? Or
they had one. So I fought for the Jackson series a few times. I don't know if
Jackson
they're still
series. Yeah,
active.
that's what yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't know if they're still doing it or whatever, but I remember that because there was always one of his guys against somebody else, right? Am I right? So they're but that's like dope in my eyes. Like you getting your guys competition, and then bro, you stayed. Look, you fought LFA. Like, where do you make the transition to come live out here full time? Like, are you going back and forth this whole time? Because
bro, I was going back and forth.
Your pro fights, we could talk about it for a long time, but literally, you went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, no, right? 8, no.
5. Yeah, 8-0.
8-0, undefeated, and all most of the fights were for LFA. Shout out Ed Sawyers. Shout out to homie.
He's
Ed,
the man.
Shout out to homie Ed Sawyers. He's been on the show too.
Oh, he's awesome. Another guy. I've had him at dinner. He's come to my family's home for dinner in Chicago. He's
good dude.
He's awesome.
Good dude. And as he said on my show, refer back, the best promotion that feeds the UFC. Guaranteed.
Yep.
Hands down.
Yep.
So yeah, you were,
and he tested me, man. He tested me. If you see it, look at the record. I fought for one of the Latin American promotions.
Yeah,
and
Combate and Combate Americas. Shout out them too.
I fought for them.
I remember the Combate Americas one with the rear naked chick. I seen
so
that one.
I made my pro debut with LFA. And that was awesome. I had so much fun. And then, like 2 weeks after, Kami, hey, can you be out in California this weekend? Sure, why? We got a fight for you, Combate. I'm like, cool. He had fighters in Combate already, so he had a connection with them, not so much LFA at the moment. And so then I fought with them, and they liked me, and then I fought for them again, and, we never signed a bigger contract, thankfully. Then we fought again so I fought 3 times with them. And then,
Back
boom,
to LFA.
COVID.
Oh yeah.
And COVID happened, and we're all at the gym training with masks on, and not touching each other.
Yeah, all of us.
Air shadow boxing, air grappling.
Yeah, man, the funnest time.
Dude, that was a trip.
Yeah,
and a couple
it just disappeared.
Yeah, wow.
It's gone now.
A couple months after COVID was going on, like probably about 6 months in, 6-8 months, because my girl was studying for the DAT to get into a dental school. And that's when we made the move out here. She got into USC. So as soon as she started going to USC and we're living out here, COVID's still happening. Fights are still on pause. And I'm like, Cub, what am I doing, man? Like, do I got to, is fighting done? Like, what's going to happen? I think I fought on the first COVID card for LFA. Because LFA was the only other promotion fighting other than the UFC in the States.
Right, because shout out Ed.
Mm-hmm. He made it happen.
A G.
He went to one of them hillbilly states and said, we're doing it here, we're doing it here.
Come on, boys, come get your money. Yep.
Oh, dude, only the baddest dudes in the country were fighting.
Yeah.
They were the only ones willing to put their name on the line during COVID and fight each other. The guy I fought he was a black belt, and man, we had a 15-minute war. First time I ever had a full fight. And I was like, damn. Ed just tried killing me. He made me fight at some Brazilian guy and tried killing me. My first go back since my pro debut with him.
Testing you. Yeah, buddy.
And we built a new relationship, and I'm waiting to fight for LFA again, and then boom, Ultimate Fighter season 29.
I remember that season.
So the season happened during COVID.
Yep.
We had to get tested all the time. I couldn't go fight. I had to wait because I had a good, clean record, and they were like, You can fight, or you can wait to see if you get on. And I'm looking at Cup. I'm like, I know I'm getting on.
Yeah.
I know I'm getting on.
That's me.
And boom, I get on. Do the show. I lost first round to Ricky Tercios.
Yeah, the dude, the one ended up winning the show, right? Yeah, yeah.
So he won. You know, we had a banger of a fight, wild fight. It was so much fun. That was the first time I had fun in a fight.
Yeah.
And after that fight, you know, waited for the show to air and everything. LFA called me up and said, "All right, you ready to work?" And
back in there.
And boom, I went on a tear. You know,
yeah.
Got my first fight back, and then I had a second fight where I was the main event, and that was in Chicago, and that was against Myron Santos. Undefeated Brazilian. He was like 21 when we fought, or 20. I don't even think I could get him a beer after the fight. And
you can't get him a beer,
yeah,
but you beat him up.
Yeah, messed up, man. I was yelling at the ref because I elbowed him in the head so many times.
Stop the fight. Yeah.
I was yelling at the ref. You said you weren't going to let me do this to him. Because I told the ref backstage, hey, man, this kid's young.
Yeah, don't let
I'm going to beat the hell out of him.
Yeah,
like,
don't let me mess him up.
Yeah, and the ref didn't listen. I'm yelling at the ref after the fight. And, you know, that was badass because I had, you know, the LFA crew was over at my house for dinner the night before the fight. And, you know, I had a bunch of guys from California that knew me from out here, from training out here. They all, you know, they were fighting out there. They traveled to my parents' house to have dinner. You know, it was cool.
Special.
Yeah.
These are special. There's special moments in your career.
Yeah, you know,
that makes it what it is.
And you're just trying to get to the UFC. You're just trying to get to the UFC. And after that fight, I was hungry, man. I'm like, I know I'm gonna get the call. I'm gonna get the call. You know, I'm 2 fights out of the Ultimate Fighter. Any moment now. Ed had a different plan for me. He said, "No, you got to fight for the title. You fight for the title. Everyone who gets this title
is gonna be
gets called up.
Yeah, for sure.
If you hold the 135-pound title in LFA, you're gonna get called up."
Yeah.
And so I fought a good friend of mine now, Diego Silva. I fought him, and we had a 5-round war. That was my first 5-round fight. We got down. I ended up winning that fight in Wisconsin, and then 28 days later, I still had stitches in my head. Got my call to the UFC.
Amazing. You deserved it, bro. You know this is what it's all about, man. The grind of what you went through, like, you know, like it's so. This is why I feel like we need shows like this, is where you can hear the come up, bro. Not just like, oh, I'm fighting this guy next week, and you know he does this and he does that. Like, this is the important stuff that people don't even really get to see, like what you had to go through to even get to that point. You know, to even get to fight in the UFC, which is like, you know, I was telling Danny this the other day. Danny Silva, shout out Danny, he's
the best, man.
One of the training partners fighting the UFC. I was telling him, man, like that's like getting signed for me. That would be like getting signed to Universal Records, like for music. Like, dude, you're making it to the NFL of mixed martial arts, like the best. Mm-hmm. Like, so amazing, bro. Like
that kid has unlimited potential.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know him, like really, really well.
He's
like in the gym, his competition, his fighting. Unlimited potential. He just needs the right bone hanging in front of him.
From Santa Ana.
Yeah, bro. Danny just needs the right bone hanging in front of him, and he'll go get it.
Yeah. Shout out Danny, man. We behind him. He's from my town too.
Bro,
he's from Santa Ana. So
he's like my little brother.
Yeah, hell yeah. And
he's like my little brother, and
it's good that you two are training together because he gets to get that wrestling look, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And
the kick, he can wrestle as good as me.
I
get his boxing look, and I'm like, today. Okay, so Danny has.
What up, everybody? Want to take a quick second out of the podcast just to give a shout out to our sponsor, the best criminal defense attorney I know. The last time I got in trouble, I needed somebody that was going to look into my case and actually fight for me and get me the best deal possible, and he did that. And I'll make sure that he does that for you. Make sure you shout me out if you guys reach out to him. They're the sponsor of the Convo. You know anybody, a family member, or yourself that make a mistake, you want somebody like him on your side. Arash, please let everybody know how they can get a hold of you.
Thank you. Arash Hashemi, 310-448-1529, or HashemiLaw.com, HashemiLaw.com, or just Google hashtag BetterCallHash. Remember that, BetterCallHash. You'll find me on every social media channel all over the internet. 310-448-1529.
You better call Hash.
That's this thing. He'll like, when I'm out of town, we'll be calling each other and stuff, and I'll be like, "Oh, how was training?" He goes, "Oh, I broke this guy today. I broke this guy. This guy didn't want to keep going." And I always made it a point to myself. I'm like, "Hey, don't be letting Danny going off telling people I broke Dan." Never. It ain't happening. And I tell Danny, I'm like, "It's not happening. Good luck."
You know what's dope? I asked him on the show just to like mess with him a little bit to see if he was gonna. I put him on the spot like, "Hey man, so tell me some of those training sessions we whooped on some of those." He's like, dead air. I'm like, now I know you really from Santa Ana. He didn't say nothing about the sparring sessions. You know, I saw the picture of you guys today, bro. It looks like you guys got a room full of guys around the same weight and a bunch of savages in there.
It's probably one of the best featherweight rooms in the country.
It looks like it, bro. Like,
it's one of the best featherweight rooms in the country.
It's crazy
to be a bantamweight training with them.
And it's like no playing around in there. It's all like everybody's like looks like they're in shape.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's the coolest part, man. Man, I never seen so many abs in pictures. You look at these other gyms, like,
don't even try to count.
Yeah,
it's too many.
Our guys are doing the work, man. Everyone always does the extra. Everyone goes above and beyond, and
I think what you guys got, bro, like, and shout out like to the organization, the bloodline, all that. I think what you guys got is dope. Is you guys got it dialed in, the training dialed in to prepare you guys for fights, and you guys got this sequence dialed in.
That's on the fighter. That's on each individual fighter. Just so you know this,
right?
We don't have like there's not a piece of paper that says, all right,
you're doing this.
Wrestling, kickboxing, this time, we're working this function, and that's not how it works.
Right.
Hey, we're in the gym at 10:30. Right. Be there. We're working.
Right.
Me and Danny will get text from Cub. Hey, I need you to work with this guy, do this. I need you to focus on this against this guy. I need this guy to go with this guy. Make sure these two don't fight each other. We have to control the room.
Organized violence.
Yeah, we control the room.
It's beautiful, but that's what it should be about. Yeah, that's how you guys are all going to get better.
Yeah, bro. And it's like, you
know what I'm saying?
I've stepped into gyms where I'm like, oh man, you target on your back.
You don't know what's going to happen. You might get knocked out.
Bro, it's uncomfortable because you're like, I'm not getting paid to be here.
Yeah.
You're already tough. I can go into the cage with guys at the level I'm fighting at or any level, and I'm already tough. I'm not scared to be there.
I came here to practice.
Yeah.
I didn't come here to get hurt and
yeah, and so that's tough.
Right.
That's a tough one. So like with our group of guys, every single guy in the room, I don't even know how it is for some of those guys because they're the same weight. But from my understanding is they're excited to train with each other. Yeah. They'll never fight each other.
Yeah.
They're excited to train with each other and get better.
Right.
Cub has instilled something in me where it's like, I just like seeing everyone else achieve their dreams as well.
You guys are doing it together.
Yeah, bro. And I know these guys see me and they say, Dan did it like this.
They want
that means I have to do it like this. And
you guys are all pushing each other to win, bro. And it's amazing to see.
Succeed,
bro.
Not just win, just succeed.
Exactly. And
my friends could lose fights, and I'm still happy. I'm still proud of them.
You guys are pushing together as a unit, man, and it's a family vibe, and respect to the bloodline management and respect to the team. And I think you guys got big things. I can't wait to see Cub fight as we get close to rapping, bro, because I definitely want to keep having you come back, bro.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I don't want to tell we told a lot already, but like one thing I do want to touch on, man. If you guys haven't seen one of his fights in the UFC, he had this dude in the fully locked guillotine in the mount, bro. And the guy, you can see he's tapping, and then the referee comes and stops. And because the referee stops you let go. Otherwise, he probably would have gone to sleep in a couple of seconds. Just tell us all once and for all. Was that locked in completely?
Yes.
It was a wrap.
Yes.
And I agree.
And if it wasn't that one, it was going to be the next. And if it wasn't the next, it was
you already had the neck locked in. You had the neck locked in. So, like, and especially knowing Cub, like, and the training environment that you come from, like, the guy was done. It was about to happen. I've been doing jiu-jitsu for almost 20 years. So, I mean, like, I'm 4th degree black belt. I'm not saying I'm the best in the world, but bro, like, he was gonna tap. So that's a victory in my eyes. Like, I just wanted to get that off my chest. You know what I'm saying? Bro, wins and losses part of the sport. Right now, you're still with the UFC.
Yes.
Where do we stand? Are we looking for a fight right now? Like,
yeah, I'm hoping to fight. Hopefully, end of September. I got some weight to lose. I still got some skills to sharpen up before I know I'm ready. I still have to deal with Cubs fight next weekend. And
Right. So Cubs fighting and
at UFC 303.
right, and that's a big event.
huge.
It was supposed to be bigger. It was
Yeah.
supposed to be the McGregor.
Yeah.
And all
But
that.
I still think,
It's still gonna be a big card.
man, to be fighting at 40 and at a pay-per-view card, it's the biggest fight of your life. Congrats.
Yeah, Cubs dialed in.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
He looks, dude, I told you, he's like a 20-year-old kid again. I'm like, man, this guy's amazing.
Yeah, well, shout out Cub and best of skills always to him and the camp, bro. And so right now you're just gonna be training, doing your thing in the green van, which we're gonna try to film the green van so y'all can see the green van. And like just living the life, huh, bro? Like,
Yeah,
and then when you do get your fight announced, we'll bring you back on. We can talk about that then, and we can talk about who you're fighting and all that stuff.
Like I said, I gotta go make myself be a little uncomfortable. I'm gonna go do about 5-6 weeks in New Mexico at my new crib, with my girl, and
enjoy life a little bit.
Yeah, well, not
design.
I'm gonna be I'm gonna be training full time.
Yeah. But design a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. But, I'll have 2-3 trainings a day for 5-6 weeks. I'll be in camp.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in shape.
Yeah.
So when I'm ready to come back out here, I'm ready to go.
Hey, all systems go for a fight. Yeah, get ready for a fight.
It's gonna be new. I haven't done it in this order in 4 years. So I'm gonna be switching it up and traveling out here for my camps. Me and the green machine.
This might be the exact thing that you need, bro. And I believe, like, especially you coming here, I believe that when we come back to talk about your fight, and then afterwards you're gonna be coming off a win, and you're gonna look back on this little journey that you did with the green truck, and you're gonna be like, man, this brought that hunger back out of me.
And before I forget, I do have something for you to kind of mark. It's the end of an era for me, and
I've been telling the guys, like, if you have anything, like, this is your house. You come on the show. We're family. And man, go ahead.
Well, I told you. He's like, oh yeah, bring me some of your fight worn underwear. You said bring me some of your underwear from the fight.
I did not say underwear. Okay, I did.
But I was like, man, I'm living in my green van. Like, I didn't bring
what do you want me to give you?
I didn't bring anything.
Sign my boxer shorts.
But there's something that I keep on me when I'm in training camp. We're reaching the end of this camp, so I can give them away. These were my UFC gloves that I used for training camp the last, almost 4 years. I wore these before going on The Ultimate Fighter, knowing that these were the gloves I was going to be fighting in, that after LFA, that these were the gloves I had to learn how to submit people in, that these were the gloves, and these were the gloves I used in all my camps while living in California for 4 years. So it kind of marks the end of an era of, me living out here and doing that journey out here with my girl, and now starting the next chapter, which is back to New Mexico where it started, and I'll be coming out here for my camps now. But I want to leave these in this, I'm here to stay.
Man, we appreciate it, bro. Like, we're going to hang it up for you. And like I said, this is good. The people that come on our show, we look at, thank you, bro.
Of course.
Thank you, guys. We're going to have them sign it, and we're going to have it on the show. The thing about it, this is your house, bro, and I get behind people that come on the show. I respect you for doing this. It means a lot to me, bro. And go get your money. It's your time. You got what it takes. Love watching you fight. You're entertaining. You're in the right camp. And I see nothing but a bright future ahead. And anytime you want get something off your chest, you can always come over to the Convo and we can talk about it. Anybody you want to shout out, bro? Like, the floor is yours. We've told your story. We're gonna come back and tell about your fight. If you want to shout out the family, anybody you want to shout out. Also, just to let you know, like, as I get older, I definitely gonna need some dental work. So send me over there.
Make your way out to the desert.
Paid. We'll put a big banner up on the show for you.
Hey.
but shout out anybody, bro. That you want to shout out. The floor is yours.
Obviously, shout out to my family, my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, my fiance back in New Mexico, and the guys who are up next, Cub Swanson, Danny Silva, and then we have a couple other guys, Douglas Oliveira and Chris Makate, who will be fighting again soon. My camp in New Mexico for, giving me a home whenever I'm away from home, and, just everyone along the journey, man. Thank you, guys.
Hell yeah. And if they want to follow you, it'll be in the description, but it's
Dan the Determined.
Dan the Determined on Instagram. Guys, follow him. Exciting fighter in the UFC. Man, it's been an honor to tell your story today. We're gonna definitely try and get some video of that green van so you can see what a real fighter's life is like. Guys, man.
Modern day gladiator stuff.
Real shit. Guys, appreciate you. Thank you, one of the bantamweights, UFC, Dan the Determined. My man. Appreciate you, dog. Thank you for coming to the show. Guys, hope you liked it. The Convo. Like, subscribe, tell your mama and your daddy, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.